a clip of this girl saying I should die. What is ever that serious that you're telling me to go and die? What? You did say it. In fact, let me jog your memory.
Jog it. Jog, oh yeah. So you guys, in this episode of the reunion, they finally spoke about the Fina Groovy beauty situation that a lot of people have been waiting to see. In fact, when they showed the snippet of what we were to expect in this episode, a lot of people were like, okay, this night is going to be hot. So we're going to dissect and talk about everything. And also, this episode was longer than the previous episodes. This was like a 1-hour episode. Apparently, this is the second to the last episode of the reunion. So let's talk. Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you are new here, please want to subscribe, turn on your post notifications so that I can get notified each time I post a brand new video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So I did not post a review of the yesterday's episode. For yesterday's episode, they addressed Shegs and Bella, and basically they are still together. They are still waxing strong. Initially, Bella said her people were not really open. They didn't really accept him with open arms and all of that, but it was ultimately her decision to make, so she still went with it. And right now, they're all good. They're fine. So, Shella shippers, kudos to you guys. Then they also spoke about Swag and Chumsy. That was also a very funny one. Those were the things that happened yesterday. For this episode, it started off with the giddy fire, Rachel Diana situation, right? So you guys remember where she was going off on Rachel, calling her different names because she saw Rachel and Giddy Fire talking in a weird position according to her, and the way she was describing the position that they were in, she was like, she saw them like this with their leg up. It was just so funny.
Yeah, remember,
like,
you were like that.
About your age, and you literally are standing like this. Why didn't you just do your part? If you don't like him, then why are you paying?
Why am I paying?
Yes.
Because I was disgraced on national
How
TV.
are you disgraced?
Because you were like this girl.
So she described what she saw, and according to her, she said they went to use the restroom, herself and Doyin. So on coming out, she saw that Giddy Fire was no longer there, and Rachel was the person she met. So that's why she now poured her anger on Rachel. That her plan was not to attack Rachel. It was Giddy Fire that was supposed to receive the basketballs, but it was Rachel that was there. That Giddy Fire just expressed to her that he likes her. He just told her about liking her, and then the next thing, she went out and then she saw him with Rachel in that weird position, like in a hidden place somehow. So that really got her pissed. Diana said she apologized to Rachel for going off on her, that it was not meant for her, but the conversation still went on because Diana was now implying that Rachel liked Giddy Fire from the moment she stepped into the house, and then Rachel was like that she liked him from the beginning, that Diana would have not stood a chance. I say, hey.
If I actually wanted Giddy Fire from when I entered the house, you wouldn't stand a chance.
No,
let's be sincere, because you think there was chemistry, but that chemistry was simply friendship. So if I actually desire,
I will just give it to you, my dear.
It's not a small something. Diana was now going off on Rachel. Rachel was now asking her why is she now pained about the whole situation, and Diana was like, for her it was more about the disrespect. Giddy Fire telling her this and doing this, it was the disrespect, and it was shameful. Like it was almost like it was embarrassing her on national TV and everything. So they just talked, and as usual, they didn't show us the concluding part, but that was the conversation that they had about them. So now, Beauty and Groovy, the way Buka started it was, he started off by asking the level 2 housemates about the situation first. He let him go around first and get other people's views. He asked Kes what he felt about the situation, and Kes expressed that he felt like Groovy and Beauty, like, it happened so fast, and then the fact that after Beauty left, Groovy now moved on to Fina so fast and everything. And then also Saif, you guys remember that Saif was holding Beauty the night that she was really getting angry and everything. For him too, he felt like, he said this is the fastest he has seen any relationship happen. So that was his thoughts at the time, but he felt like, there was something there. Brian, the same thing. So Ebuka just went around to find out their views and opinions. And then for Brian was saying that at the time he felt like Groovy was being corny, and with the way he was moving. So that was how he viewed him. Ebuka asked him whether that was why or that's the reason they are not really close again, because apparently they are no longer as close as they used to be. So Ebuka asked him whether that's why, you know, whether it affected their relationship, the way he viewed Groovy, and Brian was like, he's fine with him, it has nothing to do with him not really being close with Groovy, it has nothing to do with that. Groovy was kind of paranoid at this point. It was almost like Groovy felt like he had to really defend himself on this particular table, especially with the ladies, because you guys know that on coming out of the house, the narrative about Groovy was like, you know, playboy, you know, kind of thing, corny guy. So I feel like in this reunion, he wanted to really set his foot down and clear that narrative. So he attacked Brian. He was like, that was the reason that we're not close, that he should speak up and talk about it. That definitely that was the reason why they that affected their relationship. And Brian was like, bro, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem with you. If you feel like that affected our relationship, that's fine, that's on you. And then he carried on to say that he's not really close with a lot of housemates because he came out and decided to focus on himself. Groovy did not agree. He kept on saying that that's the reason he should speak up.
Anyways, we are not close.
I just want you to speak up, bro. You know you don't like to talk,
you allow me
so I just want you to
now.
speak up.
No be fight.
No be fight, but like, I mean, just say it as it is, bro.
Okay, no wahala, bro.
Now, Kes was also in the equation at this point. Groovy also spoke about Kes. He said that when Beauty left, it was almost like they all took Beauty's side somehow, or they did not come to find out how he was doing. They just started pushing narratives about him. That Kes made a statement that really got to him, and then Kes literally said that if he was the one in a relationship with Beauty, that she wouldn't have been disqualified. Almost like he was blaming him, Groovy, for Beauty's disqualification. So all those things just like triggered Groovy, and this particular one, he wanted to really express that he didn't like what Kes said, that who is Kes to tell him how he's supposed to move on in a relationship and how he's supposed to move, and why would he say that? That particular statement did not make sense to me, because you can't say that if you were the one, she wouldn't have been disqualified. What were you going to do? You were going to, like, how are you going to handle the situation? These two people are grown adults. You can't really put the blame, or it sounded like a blame game. Like, that's literally saying, oh, you did not handle it well, that's why this girl was disqualified. Beauty is an adult. You can't really say that. So I understood why Groovy was going at him for that particular statement. But the statement of they did not come to find out how he was doing, they were almost like on Beauty's side, that one wasn't true, because most of them moving fought with Beauty that night. Even Brian that he was talking about fought with Beauty that night, especially with the whole removing of Bbnaija's hat. Brian had an issue with her. It was a major thing. Like, a lot of them were on Groovy's side at the time. It was just, they were trying to neutralize the situation. So that's not really it. The parts where they were now looking at him somehow was when he moved on to Fina in like 1 week. Less than 2 weeks after. That's when they started looking at him like, oh, okay. So let's just move on to the next situation that came up. So next, it was Beauty and Fina. Maybe we can ask Beauty about the Groovy situation first of all, and then Beauty was just talking about the fact that what happened. She takes responsibility for the part she had to play and everything, but she was also angry at the fact that Groovy was sounding as if she wasn't really taking responsibility for her actions, and then he was just making her seem like a very abusive person, because he mentioned that he was abused, he was body shamed.
When all these things are laid, these are like abused, violated, body shamed, ended the relationship. Man, what right do you have to tell me that I should move on, I should not move on or not? So Beauty was angry at the fact that he was just like pushing. So Beauty was like that. Apart from that situation, even when she pulled her hair, her plan was not to throw it at him, that she just flung her hair. She was asking Groovy whether the hair touched him, that he should be honest whether her hair touched him, and Groovy he didn't really answer to that. And she also mentioned that there was never a situation where she hit him or anything. So from her own perspective, she didn't feel like she was really, like he was being abused per se.
Was I removing my hair to hit you that day? When we were together in private, have I ever touched you or tried to be violent towards you or abuse you in any way whatsoever? But can you sit there and tell me that I was violent and abusive towards you?
Yes, you were.
Okay, I'll leave it to your conscience.
But she admitted that the body shaming part was wrong. You guys know that she said his skinny is small. Until today, you guys, people are still using that to insult him. You found these trolls, they never let things go, so they still use that. So she apologized for that particular what she said. She said she didn't even know that she said it, that it was Saif that told her the next day, and she apologized to him in the house, as also apologized to him outside.
I knew that I still had to say sorry for that, and I apologized to him on the show. I came out of the show, I still apologized. My first and only interview, I have never spoken about this. And if you want me to say sorry to you now, I'll still say sorry. I'm sorry that I said that about you, Groovy. I'm mature, I can do that.
She said he's the one that gave her alcohol that night. The night that she was disqualified, he was the one that gave her the alcohol, and then he told her that he was going to take care of her. Meanwhile, this night he was talking about the fact that, okay, she was an alcoholic. They found alcohol in her locker. She said the alcohol they found in her locker was for I think Khalid's birthday, that they were keeping it for him. It was not her alcohol. So they made it seem like she had more alcohol in her locker. She was planning to still drink it. So she's just this alcohol lunatic, right? Although there's some truth to it. It was always when she took alcohol that she would get that tipsy, and Groovy spoke about her taking alcohol and, you know, tried to stop her from taking alcohol. But according to her, that particular night is the one that gave her alcohol and told her he would take care of her. So she wanted him to, you know, admit to some of those things. She also said that he asked her out. He was the one that asked her out, made things official. So they were officially in a relationship. Groovy agreed to that part. They were officially in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend. And then before she left, she ended things. So that was the situation with both of them. Now, Fina and Beauty. So Beauty mentioned that at the time of her leaving the house, she had already ended things with Groovy. So she said she didn't have any problem with Groovy moving on with whoever he wanted to move on with in the house. That she decided to be realistic with herself. And even in her first interview, she mentioned that, you know, she's expecting Groovy to move on, and you know, that's just her trying to face reality, right? Bbnaija asked her, why did you not now answer Fina's greeting during their last party? And that's when Beauty was now saying that she watched a clip where Fina said she should go and die. It was never that serious. Why would Fina say that? Fina was like, when did I say you should go and die? And she now replayed the scenario for Fina. She said that I think it was a conversation that Fina was having after having a conversation with Kes, and she was saying that, you know, whatever wants to happen with Beauty should happen. She should go and die, kind of thing. So at this point, Fina now remembered the conversation, right? So according to Beauty, another thing that she didn't find cool from Fina's angle was the fact that Fina did not really have anything good to say about her. That she cared about Fina, even like while they were in the house, they were friends. Bbnaija asked her whether she felt like they were friends, and she said yes. Bbnaija also asked Fina whether they were friends, and Fina was like, somehow they were friends, but they were not friends. And they were not really close like that. That she was close to Amaka. So Beauty said she didn't like that she didn't really have anything good to say about her. That's what really got to her, and that's what made her not respond to her at the party. So according to Fina said that Kes told her that Beauty said she had eyes for Groovy. She had eyes for Groovy in the house since, and that got her mad. And she now said that, okay, since she said that I have eyes for this guy, that she's going to do whatever she wants to now do with the guy. Whatever wants to happen, let it happen. If she wants to die, she should go and die.
I'm like, okay, since she said I had eye for the guy, you see this guy, I will date him. It's not may happen. She won't die, make she die. It's like a normal pidgin English.
That was the way the statement was made, and you guys know that statement, and people don't really mean it literally. They're not saying you should go and really die per se. But for me, what made it weird is the fact that she said that was what triggered her to really push things with Groovy. Like, how is that your trigger? If you did not like the guy at all, how is it that that statement is what made you feel like, okay, I'm going to now be with this guy because somebody said you had eyes on him, so that's why you now want to stick with him. It did not make sense to me at all for her to say that was her reason for really pushing things with Groovy. And another thing is the fact that she didn't understand, the fact that she didn't understand why Beauty was giving her attitude was also weird to me. Like, was she expecting Beauty to welcome her with open arms? Regardless of how things ended between Groovy and Beauty, it's expected that Beauty will not really like be close to either of them again. I'm not even blaming, I never really blamed Groovy, like I never really blamed Groovy for Beauty's disqualification. Like, why will you even do that? Beauty is grown up and everything. And then even Groovy moving on, I expected that was going to happen, even though the switch, how fast it was, I did not see it coming. And it's expected that we're gonna look at him somehow, because this was just 1 week 1 week in, and then Fina was also kind of close to Beauty at the time, and advising her at that time. So the situation was somehow, and I understood Beauty's reaction 100%. I did not expect that anything was going to really come out of it. I don't know how Fina was expecting that Beauty will not be feeling some type of way. Even Groovy understood that there was nothing there again. There was no kind of friendship or whatever that was going to happen there. So how is that Fina did not see it? Meanwhile, all throughout, like throughout that period, there were so many things that she said. It was almost like she was fighting with her conscience, right? Because she would say they were not even married. She did not say any ring on on his finger. All those things, all those statements. It was almost like your mind is telling you that this thing is somehow, but you're still trying to make those statements to make you feel better, right? And another thing that I observed in the house is that Fina and Girl Code, they're like this. It was not only Beauty situation. In fact, that Beauty situation was just like, but like there's some other things that happened that was just like, oh well, this baby, the Girl Code is not coding like that. That was my view of her at the time, right? But everything was quite okay. So, but they just ended the whole thing on that note of how do you feel now about the situation? Ibuka asked Fina whether she felt like there was anything that she didn't do right, and she said yes. The fact that she said, oh, Beauty should go and die, she shouldn't have done that, that's the part that she felt she did wrong. Beauty said it is what it is, and that's how they ended this particular episode. So what do you guys think? Like I said, there's no new information. What makes a reunion very interesting is when there's new information, but there was no new information. These are things we already knew. We just wanted everybody to air their views. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Bye, love you.